Hello, my name is Chloe. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm bringing to you my April wrap-up. So this is a wrap-up I am very excited to bring to you because I was doing the 30 reads in 30 days challenge and I succeeded. I read 30 books in April, which is genuinely mad. Some of them were quicker reads, but others were Denna Vipers. So I had a lot. I've just realised I'm wearing a top with a snake on it as well and everything. Denna Vipers seems to be my personality right now. But yeah, massively enjoyed it. Massively enjoyed my reading month. And I'm not going to talk for too long about each book, otherwise we will be here for hours. So I'm just going to give you a quick what I read, what I rated it, quick sentences about why and what it's about maybe. But just to give you the stats, I read 2 books that I didn't rate, 2 1-star books, 1 1.5-star book, 3 2-star books, 8 3-star books, 1 3.5-star, 6 4 stars, 2 4.5 stars, and 5 5 stars. So I will try and go in the order of worst to best. Starting with the ones I didn't rate, the first one I want to talk about is American Gods by Neil Gaiman, which was actually my 30th book this month. This I didn't give a rating. I listened to it on audiobook and it's really not my typical cup of tea. It was a very relaxing thing to listen to. I enjoyed my time listening to it, but if you asked me to write you 100 words on what happened in this book, I don't think I could give it to you. I did not retain anything as it was coming in. There were times where there was a smile on my face, there was times I was shocked at what was happening, but I can't repeat that to you because I cannot remember. The next book I didn't rate was Terrible Tudors by Terry Deary. Weirdly, this was book number 29. I feel like we're going backwards. The Horrible Histories books I never rate because I know I'm not the intended target audience and I don't know how to rate jokes even to primary school kids. Like I don't know how to take that at all, but I do read these, I annotate them, I have a very good time doing so. I like making a note at the start of the book about what I know about that time period and a note at the end about how much I enjoyed it. So definitely did enjoy this one, but I don't give them ratings. Next, the first 1-star book is Straight On Till Morning by Liz Braswell. And this book, I'm going to have to get some way worse books this year for this not to make my worst books of 2021 video. I really did not like this. This is a Peter Pan retelling and from the get-go, we've got no idea what's going on. I couldn't work out whether this was a retelling, like from the beginning, whether it was a sort of sequel, like a follow-up. I didn't know what characters had already had interactions. It was just never, ever explained. It was very muddled and it was so long. It was like 500 pages long and it did not need to be, and I just had a horrible time with it. The other 1-star book I had was Startled by His Furry Shorts by Louise Renison. This one was not a good time. This was book number, let me check. This was book number 7 of the Georgia Nicholson series. And if I remember rightly, because these just read so quickly and they are then gone for my life, nothing happened at all. Nothing noteworthy, nothing profound. It was just a teenage girl ranting about life, and some of these books are more enjoyable than others, as you will see very shortly, but this one just did nothing for me. Okay, so my 1.5-star read was Full Term by Ellie Rose McKee. I don't want to touch on this one for too long. If you watch my vlogs, you'll be aware of my opinion. This was an author who reached out to me when I was a day late in reviewing their book, asking why I hadn't yet. So I went in with a bit of a sour taste in my mouth anyway. Then I read the book and it was about 150 pages of a teenage girl who is pregnant and she has not let anyone know, and people basically find out when she gives birth, and she goes into like a sheltered housing and there's just no story and there's no character growth. There's not any good relationships between the characters. I gave it, like, it was going to be a 1-star. I gave it an extra 0.5 because there were some little things that happened that I thought were interesting, but would not be recommending this book or this author. Okay, so 2 stars. The first one I have is Petal Plucker by Iris Morland. And I can't believe this happened in April. This feels like another world away. But this was a smutty adult romance about a girl whose name I cannot remember. She was in her early 20s, I believe, and she was a virgin. And there were so many puns, flower puns, about losing her virginity, like hosed my hyacinth. I gave it 2 stars because I did actually have a decent time with it. It was fun, but it was poorly written. There wasn't really a story, but it was fun. I wouldn't go around recommending this to people, but I got it for free on Kindle and the time I had with it was fine. Next, I have The Boyfriend List by E. Lockhart. This is an audiobook I listened to and it was just an easy listen, really. I was going to give it 3 stars, but the story was just so lacking. This was about a girl who was seeing a therapist and going through all interactions she'd had with boys, boyfriends, crushes, things like that. She was going through every single one and basically just understanding what happened in those situations. Like, there wasn't really a plot and I don't know what more to say about it. The frog on the cover is cute though. And the last 2-star book I read was Love is a Many Trousered Thing by Louise Renison, which is book number 8 of the Georgia Nicholson series. Let me check. Yeah, it is. This one was more enjoyable than the last one I mentioned. There were some things in this that I enjoyed reading, but I still have not fully enjoyed one of these books. I have 2 more left, which are right here, and I'm so hoping that one of them gets at least a 3-star. I won't talk more on this. They're not that fun, but I bought all 10 books, so decided I was going to read them. So only 2 more to go. Next, onto the 3-star books, which, as I said, there are 8 of them. The first one is His Banana by Penelope Bloom. This one caused such a laugh in Rhiannon's live reading sprints when I read it. This is an adult romance about a woman who works as an intern in a very high up businessman's office, and she goes in and on day 1 she eats the boss's banana. It is not a metaphor, she literally eats the boss's banana and he's not very happy with it because he has to have a banana every day. And a romance stems from that. It was definitely not the most profoundly written thing I've ever read, but it gave me so much enjoyment that it had to get at least 3 stars. If I was actually rating on quality, I'm sure it'd be much lower, but the fun that I had with this just overwrote all of that. And then, considering the success of my Denna Vipers vlog, I'm considering buying the whole Objects of Attraction series, starting with His Banana, ending with Her Bush, and doing a reaction to those, but let me know if you would like to see that. The next 3-star book I have is The Whole Truth by Cara Hunter. This one I feel like giving more of a disclaimer on. For my reading experience, I gave it 3 stars. This was an ARC from NetGalley and it definitely would have been 4 stars. I really enjoyed it, but there was a mixed media element to this that did not carry over on the NetGalley e-ARC format. It meant that one of the plot reveals actually came from mixed media and I couldn't see the mixed media. So didn't really enjoy that. But 3 stars, it was really good and I would recommend this as it's like a detective thriller kind of thing going on. Would recommend it, but I'm very expressive with my hands today. But my reading experience has to sit at 3-star. Next I have Fight for Her by Liz Plum. And I may have to change this rating because I can't remember even reading this. I believe this is a girl. Yeah, it is. Okay, this is a girl who's obviously her name's gone out the window. I never remember character names. She's dating the popular guy and there's a bit of a weirdo kind of guy lurking around and she starts getting feelings for him and the whole dynamic shifts. It's a very typical story, but I did have lots of fun with it. I've just remembered more things that happen and they were really good. But it just was not the most profound thing I've ever read. Another just okay one was The Year Shakespeare Ruined My Life by Danny Jensen. Another NetGalley arc. I got to all of my NetGalley arcs this month and I don't remember anything about it. I remember it being a girl who was trying to be valedictorian and she was getting like the teachers' votes on her side. And so she decides to direct the play for the year, which they choose a Shakespeare play. And I remember it being a female-female romance, which was, I don't read that too often, and I wasn't expecting it going in, so it was like a breath of fresh air. I really appreciated it and I will definitely seek out more in the future. but it was just fine. I don't have more than fine. It was good, but I have no more thoughts. Next, we have Harrow Lake by Kat Ellis. This is a YA horror, I guess, and I didn't love it, but I feel like that was partly the time that I read it. So I read this out in the sun and I was not scared by it. I feel like wrapped up in a blanket with a hot chocolate in October at night, this could scare me. So this is a girl called Lola who goes back to the town of Harrow Lake where her dad directed the famous film Nightjar, and there's a guy called Mr. Jitters who lives under the town and like steals young girls and eats them, I think. So I feel like it could be terrifying, but it wasn't, and I'm a scaredy cat, so I don't know why. I may give this another go this Halloween-ish time or next year, curled up in a blanket, as I said, and hope to be scared by it. But if I get round to October 2022 and haven't read it, then I may just unhaul. Next, I have The 13 Treasures by Michelle Harrison. This is a middle grade fantasy that I did kind of enjoy. It explains the idea of fairies and the fae and the Seelie and the Unseelie court to a younger audience. So I had never read something like that when I was that age. So I went into YA fairy stories without that background. But I feel like this would have been such a good foundation for me at a younger age. I did enjoy it. There were parts of it that I found really, really entertaining and parts of it that I found very predictable. So I do feel like this would have been a good book for me to read. As a younger audience, I would recommend it to younger audiences, but right now it didn't really do everything I wanted it to. I feel bad for rating it that way, but that is just my honest opinion on it. I wish I would have read it when I was younger. Next, we have 2 Jacqueline Wilson books, and that is the end of the 3 stars after these. The first one is Glub Slime. This is about a girl called Rebecca who meets a magical toad called Glub Slime. I remember reading this as a child and this was my least favourite of all the books, but I read it again and it was just a sweet magical time and it was very enjoyable. I'll be holding on to this one. Then I also read Double Act, which I did enjoy less. I don't remember this being my favourite again as a child, and going into it I had low expectations and I just didn't really care for it. So this is about twins Ruby and Garnet. They're both very different people though, and they want different things, and an opportunity comes up for them that only one of them's interested in. So it throws off all the dynamics between the twins. It was good, that's why I've given it 3 stars, but I think I'll unhaul it and I don't think I'm going to think about it again. Sorry if the angle has changed quite drastically, my feet went completely numb and I had to move. The next book I have here, the 3.5 star rating, is There's Someone Inside Your House by Stephanie Perkins. I'll definitely be holding on to this one. I did find quite a lot of merit in it where a lot of people hated this. This is about a girl called Makani who has moved from Hawaii to Nebraska, and there is a serial killer in the town that seems to be attacking the high school students. The reason this didn't get a higher rating, the inside your house element wasn't really used the way it could be. The idea of there being someone inside your house and moving things and being ready to attack you at all times is horrifying to me, and I feel like it didn't get used as well as it could have done. So it was a bit lacking there. And also it was very gory, brutal murders, and I didn't feel like they were gory enough. So it was good, but it was lacking in places. Okay, now we have 6 4-star reads, and I nearly have all of them in physical copy. So the one I don't is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. So I have actually bought the Penguin cloth-bound edition since reading this one. I absolutely loved it. I don't have strong feelings about classics. I've never sat and read a classic all the way through, but I listened to the audiobook of Pride and Prejudice and I absolutely loved my time. I would recommend it. I think it's a very easy way into classics if you're into normal romances. It's just a romance but written weirdly. That's the way I went into it and I had such a fun time, and I want to reread it physically to fully appreciate it. Why do my feet go numb in all videos now? I don't learn. The next 4-star book I have here is Bike Club by Rachel Kane. This is book number 10 of the Morganfield Vampires series, and I think I did give this 4 stars on my initial read, and this was a reread going in, and we've stuck with 4 stars. I talk about this series all the time. I won't give more detail, but yeah, book 10, we're following a new dramatic event. This is where the books start getting a little bit chunkier from here on in, and it was really good. Obviously 4 stars is really good, but it just didn't completely blow my socks off, so it didn't get 5, but 4 is still really good. Next we have The Tattooist of Auschwitz by Heather Morris, which I really wanted to give 5 stars, but it just missed the mark for me with a 4. Again, 4 is really good. My only problems that I could pick with this, and I'm being far too picky, is it could have been way more brutal. The things that happened in Auschwitz were horrible, and obviously it does go into how horrible these are, but at one point our main character stood in a gas chamber with a pile of bodies, and I wanted it to be grittier. I have been to Auschwitz, I have stood where the guy was standing, and I could feel the atmosphere, but I wanted the grit to come with it written down on a page, and I just didn't quite get it. I do really appreciate the work Heather Morris put into this story. It is based on the true story of Lael Sokolov, I want to pronounce it, and so much work went in, and I have got the sequel, Silka's Journey, which I think is going to be even more brutal, so that may be a 5-star for me because I feel like it's going to be so much more intense. It was still really intense, and I don't know how to explain the fact it was gritty, but I wanted it to be grittier. Next, we have a book I was sent for review through Tandem and One World Publishing, and that is His Only Wife by Peace Adso Mehdi. This is a book about a lady from Ghana, Afi, she gets put in an arranged marriage with Ellie. The only reason this marriage is being set up is that Ellie has a girlfriend and the family don't approve, so they put him in an arranged marriage with Afi, and she, as the title suggests, just wants to be his only wife, but that might not be what he wants. I really love this. The cover is gorgeous. I will be clinging onto it for a very long time, and I believe a Netflix series is coming for this soon, so I want to read it again already. Next, we have Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I did really love my time reading this, and I know some people might be annoyed I gave it 4 stars, not 5, but I did have such a good time. This follows the band Daisy Jones and the Six, and it's told in an interview format with the band. I really loved it. Some of the storylines I didn't really care for though, and I was a little bit bored, but some of them really hooked me, and Taylor Jenkins Reid did that thing again where we think that the characters are real. So the fact I couldn't listen to these songs and see where are these people now, like on Wikipedia, was ridiculous, because they must exist because her writing's that good. But yeah, it was slightly lacking for me. It didn't quite get 5 stars, but 4 stars, as I keep repeating, is really, really good. Next, a book that I have a full reading vlog for if you'd like to see it, is Denna Vipers by K.A. Knight. I am considering upping my rating, but we're going to stick for 4 stars, with 4 stars for now. This follows the gang, the mafia kind of gang who run the town, the Vipers, and they kidnap Roxy, and she is their slave in every sense of the word. This is a whopper. I have a full reading vlog for it if you want all of the smut, all of the disgusting detail. The knife scene is something else, and there's also a water bottle scene that no one mentions. So you can check out my full reactions, but yeah, 4 stars. I had a very good time. Next, we have 2 4.5-star reads. The first one being The Kissing Booth by Beth Reckles. This has always been a 4-star read for me, and I have got the second book, which I love, and I've also got the third book on pre-order. So this is a favourite series for me. I saw the audiobook, so I wanted to give it a listen to, and I did the whole thing in an evening, so that was perfect. This is about Elle, who falls in love with her best friend's brother. If you know me, you know why I love it. As I said, it's always been 4 stars. It's just been a cheesy YA romance, but something happens at the end. Obviously, I won't spoil it, but our merging into the second book, basically, that was very reminiscent of my relationship right now, and I sobbed. So it got an extra 0.5 star on its like 3rd reread for me. So it's just a favourite. It's going to be an all-time favourite. Next, we have The Shadow Friend by Alex North. Again, 4.5 stars. It nearly got perfect, but it was just lacking for me slightly in explanations when big things were happening. I was a bit lost when we had a new revelation. I felt like they were brushed over. But aside from that, this gave me all the creepy vibes. This is about, what's his name? This is about Paul, who 25 years ago, Charlie Crabtree committed a shocking and unprovoked murder, and he has run away from the town because he was friends with Charlie at school and he doesn't really want to go back. So as soon as he finishes school, he is off and he doesn't come back for 25 years. But then his mother has a bit of a fall and she goes into a nursing home, so he comes back to sort of like be with her in her final days. And yeah, things start happening, and there's a lot about going into dreams and lucid dreaming, and it messed with my head, so 4.5 stars. And finally, the 5-star books. The first one we have here is Midnight Sun by Trish Cook. This is not the Twilight Midnight Sun, it is another one. This is about Katie, who has XP, which is basically an allergy to sunlight without better words for it, all the medical words. So she cannot go out in the sun. She lives her day in the evening, and she's been watching this guy Charlie from her window go to school every day for however many years, and she's in love with him. So when she finally meets him, it's just a big, cute love story. This was potentially the 4th or 5th time I've read it. I had an absolutely amazing time. I loved it. The movie's amazing. I cannot recommend this enough. If you love The Fault in Our Stars, 5 Feet Apart, just give it a go. Next, I read 3 books all within 2 days that I absolutely loved and gave 5 stars to each one. And that is obviously Heartstopper Volume 1, Heartstopper Volume 2, and Heartstopper Volume 3 by Alice Oseman. I absolutely loved this book. I was just trying to smile as if I was going to use this as a thumbnail. Maybe I will. Absolutely loved these. These were so much fun, so cute. I can't even tell you. I thought it was overhyped, I won't lie, and I got all of them, and I was really grateful. They got sent to me by Rebecca, so I was like, come on, Chloe, you're going to love them. Started reading them and thought this is the best thing that's ever come into my life. They got better as they went on, and number 4 has just been released, so I may have to purchase it. And finally, maybe my favourite book of this month is Goodbye Perfect by Sarah Bernard. Sarah Bernard is an amazing author in my opinion. This is only the 2nd book of hers I've read, but I was blown away by both of them. This is about Eden, who her best friend Bonnie is like the staple in her life. She's a proper goody two-shoes, she's a straight A student. But just a week before GCSEs, Bonnie goes missing, and she goes missing with the last person anyone would think she would run away with. It was so much fun. All of her books, I believe, in saying all, are told in mixed media. So we have some text messages, we have some news articles, which I now can't find. We have news articles, and it's just so amazing. I breezed through this in an evening, and I can't tell you how much I love it. So there we go. Those are all of the 30 books that I read in April. I will not be in a rush to do 30 books in 30 days again, but I feel so accomplished, let me tell you. This was such a fun month. I cannot believe I did it. And yeah, I just don't know how, really. As I said, some of them, it was obvious how I got through them very quickly. Some of them, I was just reading a great book. So I'm very proud of myself, and I hope you guys are too. So with that, I'm going to stop talking. Please do let me know down in the comments what your favourite book of April was. I would love to hear. If you've read any of these and have strong opinions, then please do let me know. But on that note, I'm going to stop talking. So thank you for watching this video. I really do hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.